Let's take a closer look at the radial stress component in a pressurized pipe. We'll zoom into a section of the pipe wall and characterize the pipe wall by its inside radius and outside radius. At the inside radius of the pipe, the internal pressure results in an outward force on the pipe wall, and on the outside, the ambient pressure causes an inward force on the pipe wall. As a result, the pipe wall is in compression. At the inside of the pipe, the local stress needs to counteract the pressure forces to create a static equilibrium. Therefore, the radial stress at this location is equal to the internal pressure value, with a minus sign since the stress state is compressive. At the outer edge, the same mechanism takes place. Here the stress equals the ambient pressure, again with a minus sign since the stress is compressive. At any arbitrary location in the pipe wall, the forces cause compression, which will be counteracted by the material. Let's take a closer look at the value of the compressive stress throughout the thickness. We plot the radial direction on the horizontal axis and the radial stress on the vertical axis. We will take the absolute value of the stress to avoid the negative sign of the compressive stresses. As discussed, the radial stress at the inside is equal to the pressure inside the pipe, Pi, and the radial stress on the outside is equal to the pressure at the outside, Po. The expression for the stress distribution inside the pipe wall is given by Lamé's theorem. This theorem states the stress variations through the wall of a pressurized cylinder. If we look at the radial stress, so sigma r as a function of the radius, the theorem provides the following expression. Now this expression looks somewhat complex at first sight, but let's take a good look. We see that it contains many fixed values, which are the internal radius, the outside radius, the internal pressure, and the outside pressure. The only variable in the expression is the radius r. The first term forms a constant for a given pipe, and the second term can be written as a constant divided by r squared. In other words, the radial stress is proportional to 1 over r squared. We see that the radial stress decays from the internal pressure value to the outside pressure value with this 1 over r squared relation. Let's label the inside pressure as the internal pressure in the pipe and the outside pressure as the ambient pressure. We see that all radial stresses in our system are between both values, so the maximum radial stress is simply equal to the internal pressure in the pipe. Let's now compare the radial stresses to the normal stresses in the other directions, starting with the hoop stress, which is derived as the pressure times the diameter divided by 2 times the thickness, for thin-walled piping, so PD over 2T. Note that the pressure in this equation is the internal pressure value. The axial stress can be calculated as P times D over 4T. Again, P stands for the internal pressure. We find that we basically apply a factor of D over 2T and D over 4T with respect to the maximum radial stress. We also need to realize that for thin-walled piping, these factors, D over 2T and D over 4T, are typically much larger than 1. In other words, there's a factor much larger than 1 between the maximum radial stress value and the hoop stress value, and between the maximum radial stress value and the axial stress value. As a result, we find that the hoop stress is much larger than the radial stress, and that the axial stress is much larger than the radial stress. Therefore, the radial stress is typically neglected for thin-walled piping. Let's review an example. We consider a pipe with a nominal diameter of 500, a standard thickness, and a pressure of 10 bars. The radial stress varies between the internal pressure and ambient pressure. We calculate the hoop stress and axial stress with the familiar equations. What we find is that the axial stress is a factor of 12 times above the maximum radial stress value. So the maximum radial stress for this example is around 8% of the calculated axial stress. The hoop stress is twice as large as the axial stress, and we end up with a factor of 24. So the maximum radial stress is 4% of the hoop stress. In summary, we've seen that the radial stress is well below the hoop and axial stress values, which is why the radial stress is often neglected for thin-walled piping.